Good morning, and thank you for joining us for Unscripted on 13 Plus. I'm Carson Courier. You're taking a live look out to Big Bear Valley with our eagle
He knew the
friends.
camera was hot. He looked at us.
Right? Oh my gosh, it was so funny. Oh, look! It's like he can hear us. Oh, he's getting mad. Oh my goodness. Okay,
Leave
well,
my
we.
chicklets alone.
Right?
Buddy.
Too funny. Okay, we might as well go ahead and move along here. We have a couple of things first. So before we get to our 13 first alert forecast, this morning we know the state is scheduled to carry out the execution of Aaron Gunches by lethal injection. This is the first execution after an almost 3-year pause. Gunches was charged and convicted for the 2002 kidnapping and murder of his girlfriend's ex-husband, Ted Price, whose body was found off the Beeline Highway later that year. Additionally, Gunches was charged and convicted of attempted murder for shooting a DPS trooper twice after getting pulled over in La Paz County near the California border. In 2 separate trials, Gunches was sentenced to death. Today, over 20 years later, his sentence will finally be carried out. Now, the Arizona Department of Corrections, Rehabilitation, and Reentry is responsible for the execution. That is set to take place in about 30 minutes here at 10 o'clock this morning. Our very own Andres Rendon is out in Florence, so is JD Wallace, so we will be covering this throughout the day, giving you the very latest details. We do want to go ahead and take a live look out to the White House this morning to give you the very latest happening with the Trump administration. We know after a 2-hour call between President Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin on Tuesday, the White House announced that the Russian leader had agreed to pause attacks on Ukraine's energy and infrastructure sites. The negotiations stopped short of a broader ceasefire. Now, just hours after the call, Russia attacked Ukraine with roughly 150 drones and missiles, hitting a hospital and an electricity system powering the railways. Now, Ukraine also launched more than 50 drones overnight in the Kursk border region. Russia's defense ministry said that, so that's according to them. So we will keep watching this for you and let you know the very latest out of the White House. But before we get to our 13 first alert forecast this morning, we do want to tell you about this latest report. So we know the latest state of the global climate report has been released. The news is pretty dire. Our world has just experienced its hottest decade. According to the World Meteorological Organization, 2024 was the hottest since record-keeping began and was likely the first time global temperatures exceeded 1.5 degrees Celsius above the baseline. That was set in 1850 to 1900. Atmospheric concentrations of carbon monoxide, methane, and nitrous oxide were at the highest levels in the last 800,000 years. Such record levels of greenhouse gases, along with the El Nino weather pattern, were mostly to blame for the higher temperatures. So we might as well bring in 13 First Alert meteorologist Dave Spar. Okay, so we haven't seen these hot conditions quite yet this year. It is the last official full day
of winter, yes.
Going to be seeing some warmer conditions here throughout the week.
Yeah, and at least it's going to be dry, so of our cooler people, you've got to help.
Yes.
But beyond that, it's going to be getting into the 90s is what we're looking for. So the spring thing is going to happen probably when you're getting out of bed in the morning tomorrow. Vernal equinox happens at 2:01 based on the Earth's tilt. So what happens here is the sun crosses over the equator at that point and now goes into the northern hemisphere, i.e. that starts to be when it's rising, it's our spring. When it's falling, that's through summer it's going to happen. So we wait till it gets to the Tropic of Cancer, that's in the northern hemisphere, the highest point. That will happen on June 20th, 21st. It can sometimes vary like the equinox can too. Sometimes it's on March 20th or 21st. Temperatures have improved a lot. In fact, the 40s are pretty much pushed off to Cochise County, and some of them holding on. Portal and Bowie still at 47, but you get the trend. Everybody's getting into the 50s, as you can see. So, first alert forecast, what happens? There does seem to be a little streak of some cloud cover. However, that's very early in the morning, and it's great for stargazing tonight. So check out Orion because he's on his way out. He's going down to the southern hemisphere looking for food and all that. But as we head into the weekend, warming temperatures coming our way and essentially mostly sunny skies. Want to watch these things move around. The blues up to the north, those are those troughs. We had one yesterday giving us some winds, no kidding. So actually what's happening is this is, generally speaking, it migrates points to the north when we get into this season here. And you can see from the colorization, the bubbling up in the southwest. That'll be the nice warm spell we're going to get early next week. This here is probably going to be our first race to the lower 90s. That's that first run. But as we get to the latter portion of next week, this is next week again, we might actually push through the 90s a little bit more so, but not sure how far we're going to go. Have to get a lot of consensus on the models before we jump on that, but it looks like 90s are coming next week. And yet here we are at 71, below the average of 77, so that feels nice with 60s going on. Maybe a chill for some. We'll take care of that for tomorrow. Check it out, the 7-day forecast. If you don't like it, we got 80 tomorrow, 82 Friday. Weekend looks great, mid-80s.
Yes.
92 for Tuesday, and again, there might be some more 90s upstream. As we got to say, this is early in the season, so it's dry. So, keep the moisture, keep the water going, and all that's because you're losing a lot through evaporation.
Yeah.
You don't know it, so got to keep the water going.
Okay. Got it.
You bet.
I love it.
That's going to be our first 90, I think, of the year by Tuesday.
Okay.
That happens. So.
Okay, good to know. Well, enjoy the warmer conditions before we turn downright hot.
Yeah, before the hundreds come. Yeah.
Yep.
You betcha.
All right. Thank you, Dave.
You bet.
And make sure to download our 13 News mobile app. You can customize your alerts. You get notifications on top stories, live coverage of breaking news. All you have to do is search KOLD in your app store, or you can scan the QR code right there on your screen to download the app. Again, we know that the execution of Aaron Gunches is going to be happening here in about 20 minutes now. Our very own Andres Rendon is out there. JD Wallace is out there. So we will be having the very latest on air, online, and on our 13 News mobile app. So definitely download that for those latest updates. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Unscripted on 13 Plus. I'm Carson Courier. Have a great day.